Tonight's all about Hunter Labrada. Congratulations. It's great to be able to bring the look that everyone knew you were capable of and that you probably knew you were capable of. Dave Palumbo here for an RX Muscle news update. As we predicted in our Tampa Pro prejudging wrap-up earlier today, Hunter Labrada wins the Ifbb Tampa Pro 2023, qualifies for the Olympia, will be going back to the Olympia with his best look ever. Yep. Hunter delivered. People have been very critical, myself included, of the fact that this guy has the tool set to go very far in the sport. He had enough size in this last year. His conditioning has been lacking. 2 years ago at the Olympia, he got fourth place with lackluster conditioning on his part. Last year, the conditioning wasn't there either. He slipped out of the top five. Some people wrote him off. The people who know Hunter Labrada and know what he's all about, know that he is just getting warmed up in this sport, and he made a couple rookie mistakes. He corrected them here tonight, winning unanimously on the judges' scorecard. Steve Weinberger was the head judge, and I don't think anyone in the building doubted that Hunter Labrada was the champ from the minute he walked out on stage, and that's what you need to do if you want to be considered a serious Olympia contender. And I got news for you. Hunter Labrada is a serious Olympia contender now. I know for a fact that I'm sure Derek Lunsford, I know he was there in the audience watching this, he's got to be getting a little nervous, although, look, he's got plenty of tools in his tool chest too. He's made a lot of improvements, but hey, here's another guy now he's going to have to contend with in that top five for certain. I don't think anyone out there would argue the fact that Labrada was a legitimate top five Olympian. He wasn't last year because he just didn't bring the look he needed to bring, but he's got the tool set. And the tool set is shape, structure, small waist, great presentation, good flow to his body, enough muscle. He lacked the conditioning. And last year, I thought he was very flat too for the Olympia. But whatever he did this past year, he corrected that. He looked phenomenal here in Tampa. He is going to go to that Olympia, and I think that he's going to be a threat. And I'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to just give props to John De La Rosa, who finishes in the second position. Look, he did everything he had to do. He couldn't do any more. He ran into a top five Olympia guy, and sometimes there's someone better than you out there. I always say, if you bring your best, you have nothing to hang your head low about. All you can do is be proud of what you brought to the stage, and John should be. He was very lean for John. He has a lot of muscle in his body. He's got a lot of impressive shots out there. Labrada was just better on this night. Things could change, I'm hoping to see John compete again. I think he can continue to improve. I think he can be a little drier probably. And I think he can certainly win another pro show. I think there's a show in Reno or something like that coming up. So that should be cool. And I know that Joel Thomas, who finished in fourth, is going to be at that show as well. So hopefully John De La Rosa doesn't stop here, because this is, this comeback for him this year, the last two outings we've seen of him, is phenomenal. I mean, he looks really good. He's fresh still. He's having fun. He's always got a big smile on his face. He enjoys the sport of bodybuilding. I know he doesn't like to lose. Who does? But you can't really, take this as too bad of a loss. Second place to Hunter Labrada. So, John, keep that head up. You're going to be at that Olympia. I know you will. Don't stop at this point. See, and this is why, I mentioned early in the year about some of the shows that we saw that had pretty weak lineups. Guys like De La Rosa could have done a couple of those early shows and easily won them and qualified. So here we are getting to the end of the schedule, and we're going to be running out of qualifying spots pretty soon. Smart move on Hunter Labrada's part to get the qualification out of the way here. Now, if he goes and does Texas, I don't know if he will or not, but that was the plan. It doesn't matter really, at that point, if he doesn't win, because he's already got the qualification. So once again, congratulations to the top two. It made this show super exciting. I know Tim Gardner, the promoter, who did a great job, as always, with the show, is probably got to be super excited that people, are talking about his show as one of the better shows of the year. Third place, Louis Breed. Surprised a lot of people. This guy has got a lot of muscle. I know he trains out of the Dubai, and I don't know what his story is. Maybe we should get him on the TV show and get his complete story, because this guy brought a lot of muscle to the table. I mean, yes, he doesn't have the shape of De La Rosa, and he doesn't have the shape of Labrada, but he's got mass and he's got conditioning. He's got a lot of dense, freaky muscle on his body. And, at the end of the day, the judges were impressed by it. And look, this is a bodybuilding show, and people want to see muscle up there. And this guy's got a lot of muscle. I thought Joel Thomas was going to finish in that third position, but Louis Breed, you can't say anything bad about it. All you can say is, I wish the guy had a smaller waist, or I wish he had a slightly better structure, but he has got oodles of muscle on his body. I'm super impressed with what he brings to the stage. He's got a lot of nasty, gnarly conditioning, and it was impressive. Joel Thomas, just needs to put more size on, especially on the legs. He's got a really terrific upper body. He's a bodybuilder's bodybuilder. The guy doesn't really do social media much. He kind of just minds his own business. He loves to train. And you know what? It shows. And if he had done some of these earlier shows this year that we talked about, he would have won. So I think this is a great outing for Joel Thomas, in fourth. And I think Louis Breed should be very proud of himself, because no one was talking about this guy now. Third place at a really, really tough show here in Tampa. So congratulations, Louis. We'll get you. We got to get you on an interview and find out all about you. And then, of course, Joel Thomas in the fourth position. Super, super great job. I think we'll probably see him again this year as well. I don't think he's done. This is a guy who just loves bodybuilding. But getting the real question here now, which a lot of people are probably thinking, and we're going to talk about this more on Heavy Muscle Radio tomorrow when I film with Chris, is where does Hunter Labrada fit into the Olympia top 5 at this point? Because he's certainly a top 5 guy. Can he win? I think he can. I think the look he brought here today to Tampa could stand next to Hadi Choopan any day of the week and get these judges thinking, hey, this guy could beat him. I think Hunter can beat anyone in the top 5 right now, if he can bring this look to the stage. If he comes in too flat, no way. If he comes in too full and not conditioned enough, no way. He hopefully has the formula down where he can repeat it, because this is a really good look for him. And if he brings this to the Olympia stage, he's going to be battling for a top 3 spot. With this look beats a Nick Walker. You know why? Because Nick Walker is bigger and harder, but not as shapely. This is a beautiful look. This is what we think of when we see Mr. Olympia on stage. And, over the next couple of years, if Labrada continues to add muscle in the right places, he's only going to get better and better and more dominant. So is this the beginning? A top 3 Olympia finish would be a feather in his cap. Obviously, he wants to win, but I think a top 3 would be great here. And I can see Labrada, if he puts a couple more pounds on over the next year, can certainly be vying for an Olympia title. But it's not out of the question this year, because there is no reigning dominant Mr. Olympia. We have a new guy in here, Hadi Choopan. He's not the youngest guy up in the lineup. He's not old, but he's not the youngest guy in the lineup. You got Derek Lunsford up and coming, surging. You still got Brandon Curry hanging in there. You got the 2 new guys, with the crazy structure and the height, okay, which Labrada has as well, not as tall as Andrew Jack, of course, and Samson Dowda, but up there. And I think Labrada has the best of all worlds. So he's got the conditioning, he's got the shape and structure, he's got height. He's got it all, and he balances off where these other guys are missing. Like, we know Samson's great, but his back isn't quite as good as probably Labrada's is now. We got Andrew Jack, who's an absolute freak, a little vulnerable in the legs, although from the pictures I've seen, he's going to be very dangerous. His legs have improved a lot. Brandon Curry, once again, vulnerability in the legs, and sometimes he comes in not as hard as he should. He's also one of the older competitors in the lineup. Hadi Choopan is the most consistent guy, and he's the Mr. Olympia champ, so he's got to be knocked off his throne, but he is beatable. He's been beaten before. So I think an in-shape full Hunter Labrada has an ability to beat any one of the guys I just mentioned in that top group. So I think it's going to be a great show. And don't forget, Ramy will be in there as well, from what I hear he's doing the Olympia. But, you know, I think he's got vulnerabilities. We already know about that. We've talked about him, you know, ad infinitum. But tonight's all about Hunter Labrada. Congratulations. It's great to be able to bring the look that everyone knew you were capable of and that you probably knew you were capable of. It's, you know, it only lasts a day or two and then you're back to the grindstone again, but enjoy the spoils of your victory. Full wrap-up of the entire Tampa Pro Show on Heavy Muscle Radio tomorrow night with Chris Aceto. I'm Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle News Update.